Speaker, it is worth noting that the infrastructure sector has been marred by project implementation challenges, hindering provision of services to our people. These include, among others, poor performance of some contractors, inadequate supervision, monitoring and evaluation, limited implementation capacity. As a government, Mr. Speaker, our main aim is to ensure that these challenges are addressed and that modern and transformed infrastructure is delivered to our communities. To achieve this, we have set our true north as a sector, which is to transform Botswana into a premier regional hub for trade, travel and investment by building world-class integrated infrastructure that ensures resource security, that powers sustainable economic diversification and provides seamless connectivity to regional and global markets. Transport policy and governance. Mr. Speaker, achievement of our aspirations calls for a reflection on our legal framework, structural and internal processes. We need legal instruments which will not only facilitate implementation but also enhance efficiency, transparency and long-term sustainability of the transport sector. Currently, there's a pressing need for reforms to separate rail infrastructure management from rail operations, as the Act only allows Botswana Railways to be the sole rail operator. This will enable Botswana Railways to retain ownership of infrastructure while allowing multiple operators to provide rail services. The separation, Mr. Speaker, will lead to improved efficiency through competition and attract investment into both infrastructure and rolling stock. Mr. Speaker, to improve operational efficiency and in line with the Southern African Development Community Protocol on Transport, Communications and Meteorology of 1996, the Public Roads Act will be revised to introduce the National Roads Agency and National Road Fund. This will allow for improved management of roads and their funding in a more commercial and market-oriented way. Furthermore, a new national integrated transport policy will be introduced as a blueprint to guide on the development and management of a sustainable transport system. Mr. Speaker, government has endorsed the structural transformation of Civil Aviation Authority of Botswana into two separate entities, one of which will be covering operations, whilst the other will be for regulatory functions. The transformation will improve efficiency in accordance with best international practice. Mr. Speaker, during NDP 12, we intend to establish the Transport Regulatory Authority and Road Safety Council. This will replace the current Department of Road Transport Services. International practice has shown that regulation and delivery of services are better delivered when kept apart, with government retaining the former. Private sector participation in devolved services and operations will result in efficiency and improved service delivery. Establishment of the Road Safety Council, Mr. Speaker, is mainly to oversee the implementation of the National Road Safety in alignment with the United Nations Decade for Road Safety Strategy. This will improve the current road safety situation in Botswana. Furthermore, sector-wide reforms to be looked into include the promulgation of a Transport Act and launching of a national multimodal transport master plan. Rail infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, we have seen a decline in the rail freight volumes driven by reduced trade and rising road transport competition. Since 2015, imports and exports declined from their peak volumes of 843 tons and 843,000 tons and 738 1,000 tons respectively. This was driven mainly by reduced trade, rail infrastructure limitations, and rising road transport competition. We are now paying a high price as a result of increased traffic and damages to our roads. In addition, our railway line, which runs from Ramatlabama to Varakaranga border in Zimbabwe, has been deteriorating over time, resulting in increased maintenance costs. As part of the government's goal of expanding the railway network, or the rail network, and enhancing connections with countries in the region, several infrastructure projects will be undertaken during NDP 12. Most of these projects, Mr. Speaker, will be implemented through public-private partnerships, and these include the following. Number one is Mmamabula-Lephalale Rail Link, which will connect Botswana to South African rail networks at Lephalale and represents a crucial step in unlocking Botswana's coal export potential through Richards Bay Port in South Africa. Number two will be the Mosetse-Kazungula-Livingstone Rail Link, which will facilitate the efficient movement of goods between Botswana and Zambia by reducing transit times and improving logistics efficiency along the north-south corridor. The third one is the Trans-Kalahari railway line that happens to go through Khanzi, which is expected to bring significant economic benefits to the Botswana and Namibia and the whole of Southern African Development Community. The last one is upgrading of the Ramatlabama-Varakaranga borderline and the rehabilitation of the Zimbabwe rail line to allow for higher axle loads, improved turnaround times, and greater efficiency in freight movements. Mr. Speaker, implementation of these projects will strengthen economic ties and trade integration, thereby positioning our country as a strong, competitive regional player. Road infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, as a country, we rely on 32,500 kilometer network, out of which 10,725 kilometers are tarred. I must admit that this is not near enough and creates a bottleneck for other sectors such as tourism, agriculture, and mining, and by limiting production and increasing transport costs. Furthermore, the rains we experienced at the beginning of the year really exposed our poor road conditions. Our focus, therefore, will be on the rehabilitation and upgrading of these roads to not only improve access, but also ensure safety for our communities. As part of the transformation drive in the transport sector, Mr. Speaker, 2,722 kilometers of roads will be upgraded and rehabilitated during NDP 12. This will increase the current road condition index of 65% to more than 75%. Some of the strategic roads, Mr. Speaker, geared towards facilitating trade are: the first one is upgrading and reconstruction of the A1 highway, reconstruction of Palape-Martins Drift, including Martins Drift Bridge. The third one, reconstruction of the Gabea-Lerala Road. And the fourth one is the development of Blue Route, what we call the Blue Route, Tsabong to Hukunzi Road, and Shorobe to Kachikau Road. Lastly, will be the reconstruction of Kokotsa Tsabong to Makethis Rust Road. These roads will remove all bottlenecks and facilitate access for sectors such as tourism, agriculture, and mining, as well as facilitate connectivity and transportation of people, goods, and services from one point to another. Mr. Speaker, as part of government's commitment to mobilize funding and ensure that our road network is well maintained, tolling will be considered through partnership with the private sector. In this regard, A1 highway has been identified as a candidate for tolling through public-private partnership, where the investor will recoup their capital investment from toll fees. Efforts are also underway to assess the viability of tolling other routes around the country through feasibility studies. Road transport services. Mr. Speaker, many of the challenges experienced in provision of road transport services are as a result of obsolete systems which require upgrading. These systems are running on an old operating platform which is no longer supported as it cannot run on new versions in its current state. This poses security vulnerabilities both to the government data network and the system itself. Therefore, expansion and modernization of our transport systems is of paramount importance to improve service delivery. During NDP 12, the focus will be in introduction of a transport information system, introduction of driver and vehicle testing systems, driver licensing system, road transport and roadworthiness certificate system, fleet tracking management and maintenance systems, and introduction of e-ticketing to improve service delivery and accommodate high demand. Aviation sector. Mr. Speaker, as you may be aware, out of 4 international airports, Maung International Airport is the most active, accounting for 65% of all aircraft movements in 2023. The airport has been showing significant improvements in aircraft and passenger movement over the years, reflecting the growing demand for air travel in the region. Strategic investments in Botswana's aviation infrastructure will unlock a high-value export economy and establish a regional logistics hub. As part of our objective of unlocking the high-value export economy and establishing a regional logistics hub, the Maung Airport has been identified as a critical gateway to enhancing global connectivity across continents, further increasing traffic into Botswana. We are currently finalizing the feasibility study, which will guide implementation of the Maung Airport Development Project. The main objective being to build a state-of-the-art green airport with adequate facilities to handle the increasing passenger traffic, improve operational efficiency, and support the growing tourism industry. We will also develop the Mosetse-Kazungula-Livingstone International Airport into a multimodal air cargo and logistics hub. The SSKIA cargo facility will be upgraded to enhance Botswana's appeal as an international distribution hub, enabling local logistics firms, freight forwarders, and exporters to scale their operations and compete on a global level. Furthermore, maintenance of airport infrastructure, including airfields and modernization of the airspace navigation system, will be prioritized. This will enable the country to achieve the highest international civil aviation organization audit ratings, ensure safety, efficiency, and reliability of airport operations. Mr. Speaker, as this Honourable House is aware, our national airline has not been performing well, thereby affecting its financial situation. I have appointed a new board of directors with a clear instruction for them to provide a turnaround strategy for Air Botswana, and we are on course. The initial step, Mr. Speaker, towards resuscitating Air Botswana is to adopt a leaner operating schedule to stabilize operations. Additional efforts to diversify revenue streams and leverage on aviation as a growth enabler in tourism, logistics, and regional integration will be implemented. This includes the following: expanding the maintenance and repair facility to increase in-house capacity, attract third-party maintenance contracts, and reduce operating costs. 2, establishing an aviation training school to deliver airline mandatory training programs. And finally, purchasing of a cargo aircraft. Implementation of these initiatives, Mr. Speaker, is expected to enhance the airline's reliability, efficiency, and customer service. Water. Mr. Speaker, as we strive towards growing and transforming our economy, we shall note that this comes with increasing water demand from our sectors. To this end, the national water supply stands at 225 million cubic meters against a national demand of 272 million cubic meters. This brings the water deficit to 17.3%, which we intend to reduce to 85% by 2030. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, the growing impact of climate change exacerbates the deficit as it results in low recharge of dams and underground water sources. For several areas around urban centers, there's limited network distribution to facilitate household connections. In addition, due to deficient and dilapidated infrastructure, several regions are experiencing high levels of water bouncing and thus increasing operational costs. These challenges, Mr. Speaker, cannot deter us from treating our citizens with the dignity they deserve. We will therefore advance several strategies to ensure availability of water to our communities and facilitate the economy. This will include the following: identification and development of diverse water sources, including groundwater, well fields, rainwater harvesting, small dams, wells, salt pans, effluent reuse, and managed recharge. Strengthening collaborations with the 4 river basin organizations. Now, that's the second one. And that is strengthening collaborations with the 4 river basin organizations and pursuing additional international partnerships to harness trans-boundary water resources. The third one, reclamation and reuse of wastewater through implementation of wastewater treatment and reuse initiatives. The fourth one, review of legal instruments to ensure equitable allocation of water resources across the various sectors. And lastly, promotion of alternative water resources such as storm water collection, mine dewatering, rainwater harvesting, and water efficient devices. Special economic zones. Mr. Speaker, the drive to economic diversification through special economic zones has moved at a slower pace than initially anticipated. We therefore intended to accelerate its implementation, as this is one area which will greatly contribute towards our vision of transforming this economy to a high-income status. Addressing impediments such as delays in land allocation, Mr. Speaker, and bureaucratic processes will be prioritized. This will include a review of the already existing incentive packages and conflicting legislation. Mr. Speaker, 4 out of 9 special economic zones will be implemented during NDP 12. These are Mosetse-Kazungula International Airport Logistics Hub, and light industrial general manufacturing, including but not limited to diamond beneficiation and jewelry, electrical and electronics, and pharmaceuticals. The second one, sewer for salt and soda value chains. The third one is Lobatse for meat and leather industries. And lastly, the fourth one is Pandamatenga for agricultural production and processing. Implementation of these, Mr. Speaker, will be emphasized on private sector-led development with self-liquidating ventures. Monitoring and evaluation. Mr. Speaker, our focus during NDP 12 is to enhance monitoring and evaluation, which has been lacking and therefore affecting service delivery. We will be monitoring performance of the sector with the aim of achieving the following by 2030. First, 348 million cubic meters of additional water volumes from diversified sources. 2, reduction of water supply deficit from 17.3% to 8.5%. 3, 10,209,631 tons of national freight throughput ferried by air and rail. 4, 2,722 kilometers of roads constructed and upgraded. Lastly, 36,512 new jobs created in the infrastructure sector. Achievement of this, Mr. Speaker, solely lies on all of the stakeholders working towards a common goal of transforming our economy. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.